Okay, this is my favorite part of the week now. Welcome to the Unified CXM experience, and of course, it's Monday, so we're with Neha, our Breath Yogi. And it's funny. I had like a really aggressive day, and lots of stuff's been going on. It's been really kind of insane, and then this music starts, and I'm going to be talking to Neha. And I'm going to be doing some breathing, and suddenly it just all slows down. So hopefully it slows down a bit for you for a second here. Neha, welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I had an okay week last week. So just people don't know what I'm talking. So, introduce myself as always, Grad Khan, Chief Experience Officer at Sprinkler. And last week, Sprinkler became a New York Stock Exchange listed company, ticker symbol CXM. It was a very, very exciting week, an extremely exciting day. I mean, one of those days where everything went perfectly. And it could, even the weather was perfect. Like, it wasn't too hot or too cold. It was like the whole day was as perfect a day as you could possibly dial in. And I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it because there's a lot of content about the IPO day for Sprinkler on LinkedIn. So I encourage you just to go and just type Sprinkler. There's plenty of visuals and content. And I think every single employee in the company has posted something on LinkedIn about it, which is fantastic. But I was thinking might be kind of nice if we had an IPO breath. Is there an IPO breath? Yeah.
IPO
what
breath.
What an IPO breath sound like?
So okay, yeah. We could do something that'll just, I think, one of the things that help people calm down in strenuous situations like those, because you don't know, it's been so hectic and so many emotions flying. So why don't we do something that we will now from this point forward call the IPO breath. It's being birthed right now. Okay.
Let's go.
So for this particular breath, we bring the index finger to touch the tip of your thumb and extend the rest of the three fingers out. Okay. And now place the palms on your thighs. So I'm just going to repeat this one more time for people who are listening. Bring the tip of your index finger to touch the tip of your thumb gently. The rest of the three fingers are straight, and rest your palms on your thighs facing the ceiling or sky. And let's sit back easily and comfortably, relax the shoulders. And on my count, on using the oceanic breath, we'll breathe in and out of the nose. So let's start. Take a normal deep breath in and just let it go. And for the IPO breath, using the oceanic breath, slight emphasis on the throat through the nose. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. Out. Continue. Breathe in. Full focus is on the breath. The body is fully relaxed. Breathe in till your collarbones lift up. And as you exhale, gently pull the navel in. Keep focusing on your breath. Just a few more rounds. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. Out. And and relax. Keep your eyes closed for a moment, relax the fingertips, and just bring your attention inwards. Feel your feet on the ground. Check in with your mind. And when you're ready, you can slowly open the eyes.
That was good. I like the IPO breath.
Cool. We have a new breath.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So, I wanted to talk today just briefly about attitude. I was, I heard an interesting story. Someone was talking about being in a ballpark with their father, and father went off to go get a couple of beers. And this person's dad was 80 years old, like elderly gentleman, good shape and spry and stuff, and certainly capable of getting beers, but, clearly like not a kid. Dad comes back 15 minutes later after waiting in a long line. And he said, I couldn't buy the beer because I didn't have my ID with me. And they require ID to prove that you're over 21. So my friend gets up and he goes up and waits in a long line. He gets to the front of the line and says, those two beers over there that are waiting, my father tried to buy them, but without his ID, you wouldn't give them to him. Why did you do that? And the person behind the counter said, rules are rules. Didn't care at all. And it's like easily the intent and spirit is being overridden by this sort of rule of law. And I think about this a lot. I run into a lot of customer service situations. We talk a lot about customer experience and, happy customers and all this kind of great stuff. But I remember sitting down on a United flight. This is not very long ago, just kind of pre-pandemic. So maybe 2 years ago. I'm rarely on United, but I was on United. And the flight attendant came on and she said, hey, normally this flight's supposed to have 7 flight attendants, but today we only have 5 or 4 because United won't pay for the right number of flight attendants. So things are going to be slow. We'll get to you when we get to you. We might run out of stuff, and that's just the way it is. I'm sorry. I was like, wow. Like, you are literally setting me up for the worst customer experience ever. Like, even if it was a good customer experience, you're creating an expectation that it's going to be poor. So it probably will be poor because that's how I'll remember it. And so so let's forget about the company piece of this. Like, companies have got to deal with this, and we'll get to that later. But when you're a customer and you start getting enraging customer service, there's a tendency, and I think increasingly people have got a shorter trigger because there's enough examples of good customer experience, that when you have a bad customer experience, you start to get a little like short, like what are you talking about? And you don't do that to me. And I had an experience last night where it was just weird treatment by me, and I got really upset really quickly. How do we as individuals, as customers on the receiving end of poor customer service, how do we handle that so we don't overreact? How do we keep ourselves from being negative or from reacting in a way that makes the whole thing even worse?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And you're right. People have come to expect that if I'm a customer, there's a certain expectation that has been set by all the companies that are doing really a good job at it. The way I see it, there's more than one perspective on any given situation, right? So one of the perspectives is the one that I sort of really take in certain similar situations, is like, before anything else, before being a customer service representative, this person, salesperson, this is a human being in front of me. And God knows what's going on for them in their day that day.
Right.
Okay, just like an iceberg, you're just seeing the tip. You're not seeing what's going on under the surface. So I don't think, and I truly believe this to a fault, that I am not sure that there are people, normal people, who wake up in the morning and say, today I'm going to be rude. And today I'm going to be mean to someone. Because for someone to be that way, internally, they're hard on themselves. There's a strain inside. See, outside behavior is just a reflection of what's going on inside.
Interesting. I love that. What a giving perspective. That is awesome.
and
So
it's
instead of
come.
feeling entitled as a customer, so I think this may be part of the problem is that we've all got loyalty programs now. We've got status. And I was on one call with Delta once where it was extremely frustrating. They had gotten rid of all of my e-credits. I had thousands of dollars of e-credits, and they just
Wow.
wiped them all out because I hadn't flown in the last year. And I'm like, well, there's
Mm.
a pandemic going on. What are you talking about? I haven't flown last year. And I thought I had flown, but the whole
Like
that
you
never
didn't
mind
have
that for a
flights.
second. It was just the whole thing was just so ridiculous. Like they were penalizing me
Mm.
for the pandemic, right? And I said to this agent, I said, and this is my own entitlement boiling up because I was very frustrated. It was enough money for me to be like, concerned about it. And I said, I'm a Delta 360. I can't believe you can't help me with this.
Mm.
You know what he said to me? And he was terrible. He was a horrible, horrible agent. And he was being really mean to me at that point. But when I said that, he said, you telling me that you're a Delta 360 when you know I know that already is not helpful. In fact, what you're probably going to do is get even worse service from me now. That's what he said to me.
Wow.
That was a
Mm.
Delta agent. Can you imagine?
Mm.
So what I did, and what I did, because I thought, this is not going in a good spot. I said, hey, thanks a lot. And I just hung up
Yeah.
and I just
Mm-hmm.
disengaged, right? Because there was some iceberg there that, he didn't want to hear from overprivileged Delta 360 members anymore that day.
No, and what he could have done if he had that emotional intelligence, or if he was in a really happy, peaceful place, he could have turned around and said, yeah, I can feel your frustration. Like if I was in your case, that was a lot of money to just lose for no fault of yours.
That would have been
Right?
helpful. Yeah, that would have been very kind. Yes.
That would have been very kind, and maybe
You didn't do that.
the outcome would have still been the same. You
Yeah.
see, he possibly by policy could not do anything for you, right?
Right.
But had he turned around and just empathized with, like, shit, if I was in this guy's place and I lost thousands of dollars for no fault of mine, like, we didn't have airlines running, so where could the guy possibly go? Had he just turned around and tapped into why you were saying that, like, I don't feel good about using the word should. Like, the way you felt was pretty legitimate. Any normal person who cares and works for his money would feel that way. So it's not that those feelings should not come up, that we shouldn't feel enraged. It's normal. It's normal for us to have that knee-jerk reaction when people are being rude or mean. But now we can have that level of awareness that, okay, this feeling is coming up and it's normal. So being that for me also, like, yeah, it's about money. This doesn't feel fair. That's why people raise their voice, because they feel like they're not being heard. So being kind to yourself, okay, this is legitimate, but now I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm the more mature one here, and I'm just going to treat this person with love. Thank you. You did the right thing, because that conversation would have not gone anywhere. So you saved your mind. But in this other instance for the airlines or whatever, be like, okay, probably this lady's been on, I don't know how many, whatever her backstory is. Thank you for letting me know.
Ballpark, right? Just people who don't care, right?
She was setting your expectations, basically. She was setting your expectations.
They managed to not actually hit those either. Hashtag United. So let me ask you for a different kind of breath today.
Okay.
So when we were at the IPO party, I was watching you, and it was there was like a lot of people on a rooftop in New York. So we had, I don't know, 300-400 people on a rooftop. It was, good size, but it was dense. It was a lot of people together, and certainly felt very close, given that was the first time we'd really all done that in a long time. But I noticed you doing some kind of breathing exercise where you had your hand in front of your mouth, and it looked like you were doing some kind of like stress breathing exercise. And
Really?
so, you're kind of like had your hand like this, and you were walking around, and you're kind of almost like doing some kind of controlled breathing exercise. I thought, she's got some kind of stress management breathing thing she's doing right now. So like, I'm in a bad customer situation. I mean, oh my God, I could literally go on for hours about some of the airline stuff, but I'm in a bad customer situation. It's super frustrating. I'm feeling myself getting frustrated. The person in front of me is not trying to help me. They're an iceberg, and they're below the waterline. It's all black and dark and angry. how do I breathe my way out of that situation? What's a in the moment breathing technique that can get me to calm myself down so I don't flip out?
So I'm going to give you a really neat hack. Okay.
Hack. Ooh, I love hacks. Okay.
So the activity in the mind is connected with the breath.
Right.
So
Because
if
you
you
often find
stop,
yourself breathless when you get really angry, right? Because you're not
there's a
breathing properly
difference.
when you get angry.
Yeah. Yeah. The rhythm changes. But the fact is that if you you pause your breathing, the mind stops.
Hmm.
The immediate thing you can do without, keeping your hands in weird positions that make people notice you. You just take a deep breath in. You want to try it out? We take a deep breath in. Okay. So just like you're sitting, take a deep breath into the belly, into the chest, and hold the breath. And you'll feel that tension rising in your body. And then very slowly breathe out through the nose. Very, very slowly as you can. And you'll notice that energy dissipating. Now do this 2 more times. Deep breath into the belly, into the chest. Hold the breath and feel that tension increasing in your body. And very, very slowly breathe out through the nose and just notice the tension melting away. One last time. Deep breath into the belly, into the chest. Breathe in till your collarbones lift up. Hold the breath. Very, very slow exhalation through the nose and let it go.
All right. That's good. That is a good hack. So, Randy, next time you see me doing that, you'll know I'm just trying to keep my
Like,
stuff together.
just try to goodbye.
Yeah. So did I catch you doing some kind of special breathing technique at the IPO party, or were you just like eating? You look like you were doing some kind of breathing technique. Yeah, it was like
it was not.
it's very deliberate. I feel like you've got some kind of secret breathing techniques you're not sharing with all of us. I get it. It's okay. It's okay. You gotta have secrets. Not every magician reveals their tricks. We'll call it.
Well, we need more time
Neha
for
Copperfield here. Yeah, we'll have more time for that.
Neha Copperfield. We need more time for that. You need to come to a retreat with me sometime.
That'll be fun. I like that. All right. Okay. Well, that was a fun episode. So so just kind of like, it's so funny because as I start talking about these negative customer experiences, my mind just starts racing. And I was like, oh yeah, and there was this one, and there was this one, and there was this one, and there was this one. I was like, whoa, everybody calm down. Okay, you'll go back in your drawers. We don't need to hear from you right now. But boy, it's something like these things, like, it's so funny. Companies underestimate it. Some of these like experiences just, like they stick with you forever. I had a Delta check-in experience probably 8 years ago that I will never forget as long as I live. It was so bad. It was so bad. Like the person literally tried to jump across the counter and strangle me. And it was really bad. And it was this person was unstable. I was just, I wasn't angry. I was just kind of like trying to get a bag. But it was just like, it's so like, it's amazing. I'm still very loyal to Delta, but boy, I'll tell you, that has stuck in my mind. Like, and you don't ever forget those things. And so companies have to remember that. All right. I am going to wrap for today. Anything else, Neha, from your standpoint?
No, just keep breathing and just treat other people like how you want to be treated. Even if they're not being nice to you, you be nice to them.
Even if they don't deserve it.
That's okay. It'll come back to you,
Yeah. And
they'll remember that.
And it was great seeing you face to face at the party. I really enjoyed that because we see each other like online all the time, but it was really nice actually seeing the physical
in your eye or in your jaw for once.
Well, the other thing I was saying to people, what's so weird about seeing everyone physically is that there's not a little name in the bottom left-hand corner when I'm talking to everybody anymore. So,
so you don't know the name.
I forgot how much I got used to looking at the names and the faces. Like, wow, that was super weird for the first 20 minutes of that. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. So, Neha, thank you very much as always. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
And for the Unified CXM Experience, I'm Grad Khan, CXO at Sprinkler, and Neha and I will see you next week.